Oh, he believes a lot of wild things. One of them is transgender surgery for people who are under 13.
So for those out there who are wondering, aren't there something else you could be doing or doesn't seem to impact you in your life? This is what it means to show empathy. This is what it means to be welcoming.
He changed the Minnesota state flag to make it look like the Somali flag. You haven't seen that?
But our current flag is problematic. I think we all know that. We've evolved into a more diverse state, and I think it's more reflective of
Joe Rogan's witnessed some truly bizarre stuff in his lifetime. We're talking UFOs, politicians pretending to be wild game experts, and health fanatics who claim kale smoothies can cure anything from heartbreak to tax problems. But even with all that, Joe wasn't prepared for Tim Walz, a politician who somehow manages to turn Minnesota into the backdrop of a chaotic, low-budget sitcom that nobody scripted, but everyone can't stop watching. It's like he took the idea of leadership, added confusion, sprinkled in some overconfidence, and called it a masterpiece. The madness is so wild, even Rogan had to laugh and wonder, is this real life or a political prank gone wrong?
Think about Walz's descriptions of his military career, because there's some issues there that people have. I don't know if he flat out ever said that he served in Afghanistan, but he certainly didn't dissuade people from saying that he was when they were saying he didn't correct them.
Right.
There was things
He didn't. And he
Joe Rogan just stumbled upon something about Tim Walz so jaw-dropping it makes UFO sightings look like a routine weather report. Suddenly, this guy isn't just a politician. He's a walking cliffhanger wrapped in a plot twist nobody saw coming. Rogan's sitting there with enough ammo to roast him harder than a bonfire in the middle of a Texas summer. This isn't politics anymore. This is straight-up reality TV chaos that somehow wandered into Minnesota by accident. What Joe uncovered is the perfect storm of comedy, confusion, and conspiracy all tangled together in one unbelievable moment. Every second feels like a scene ripped from a dark comedy that got way too real. Grab the popcorn, because this meltdown doesn't just demand attention, it screams for it.
If that Tim Walz cocksucker, if that guy got into power, like if Kamala died and Tim Walz, Tampon Tim, was our president, you know how crazy this country would be? That weirdo who puts tampons in the boys' room, and what about our joy? Like he's a complete pathological liar, like a complete liar. Lied about being in Tiananmen Square, lied about being a fucking head coach of a football.
If you're enjoying this takedown, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. When Rogan peeled back the curtain, what he found wasn't a mastermind pulling strings. It was pure circus energy in a suit. Tim Walz was juggling chaos like a clown at a carnival, trying to keep all the balls in the air while the tent burned down behind him. Somehow, he's mastered the art of appearing productive while actually achieving next to nothing. It's like watching someone sprint on a treadmill. Tons of movement, absolutely no destination. Every press conference feels like déjà vu. Big gestures, loud promises, and zero progress to show for it. The man's entire career could be summed up as motion without meaning. And yet, it's almost fascinating to see how confidently he keeps the illusion alive. You've got to admit, it's impressively ridiculous.
I don't know. Tim Walz is out there talking again.
Did you say he could fight any Trump supporter?
Yeah, he says he kicked their ass, and they're scared of him because he could fix a truck. Like they're threatened by his masculinity. I know how to fix a truck. That's what he said. I'm like, do you? I bet you don't.
The lady doth protest too much.
I bet you don't.
I fear.
I bet if I bring a broken truck to you and a bag of tools.
That was kind of the redress, right? That was the attempt. It was like we're gonna the symbol of masculinity on the left is going to be.
Rogan couldn't ignore what he was seeing. Every time Tim Walz tried to flex his so-called leadership, it didn't look powerful or commanding at all. It looked like a substitute teacher desperately trying to keep control while the class throws paper airplanes. The man gives off more confused dad fixing the Wi-Fi than strong political leader, and it's impossible not to laugh at how perfectly it fits. Minnesota hoped for someone decisive, but instead, they got a sitcom character lost in a government office, pressing buttons and hoping something turns on. Every public appearance feels like a rerun of the same comedy sketch. Walz tries to act in charge, loses track halfway through, and ends up improvising nonsense with full confidence. Joe pointed out that it's not even malicious, it's just unintentionally hilarious. The whole thing plays out like an episode of Who's Leading This Anyway?, where Walz stars as the man who mistakes chaos for charisma. It's leadership turned into entertainment, and the laugh track practically writes itself. You can almost hear the audience giggling in the background every time he steps up to the podium, thinking he's delivering inspiration, when really he's delivering pure comedy gold.
This video of Tim Walz doing the exact same thing.
Right.
Exact same thing, and
Yes.
he said, of course, it's a Nazi salute. He said that.
Right.
We spent 3 days debating, having them trying to debate that President Musk gave a Nazi salute. Of course he did. But that is a distraction.
This is how crazy things have gotten. Like,
And here's the twist that makes it even more unbelievable. Walz doesn't even bother pretending anymore. The man acts like he's cracked the secret code to running an entire government. But when you listen closely, his so-called big ideas sound like recycled motivational quotes from an old office poster. Joe Rogan noticed right away. It's all glitter, no gold. These speeches have the same energy as something you'd read on a 2003 calendar next to a photo of a sunset and the word believe. It's the kind of thing that sounds deep, only when you're half asleep in a dentist's waiting room. Rogan didn't roast him cruelly. He did it with that perfect bewildered tone that says, "Wait, are we seriously doing this right now?" He broke down every overused phrase, every empty slogan, and exposed the comedy hiding beneath Walz's polished smile. Joe turned what could have been a dull critique into a masterclass in controlled chaos, the kind where you're not sure whether to laugh, cringe, or take notes on how not to lead. It's the perfect mix of humor and disbelief, a political circus where Walz somehow manages to be both the ringmaster and the clown at the same time.
Interviews and there's no pushback. There's no like, excuse me, I didn't go to Iraq, right?
Exactly.
And I retired, as my unit was deploying. And so
we were retired
yeah.
a couple months before.
A couple months before,
right?
Yes,
what is the whole
but those
story
guys know
behind it?
they know that they're going, right? It's not like they suddenly get a paper, on one day. There's a build up to that, and they're aware of it. And so, even his personnel were saying, look, we all knew we were going. He knew he was going. Now, okay.
What's even wilder is how Tim Walz struts around like he's the unsung hero of American politics. Yet half the country wouldn't recognize him if he walked past them in a parade. Still, he carries himself like he's auditioning to play the president in a high school drama where the budget ran out halfway through. Joe Rogan couldn't help but laugh at the absurdity, because once he peeled back the layers, there was no brilliant strategist underneath, just a man desperately trying to look like he belongs among the big leagues while clutching a playbook that looks like it was written in crayon. Joe's style has always been about digging deeper, but with Walz, there wasn't much to dig. The surface alone told the entire story. On camera, you see the charming politician's smile. But the moment Rogan started connecting the dots, it turned into less trusted leader and more man who shouldn't be trusted with sharp scissors. Every new story led to an even stranger twist, like peeling an onion only to realize it's actually a painted cabbage. Rogan highlighted one of his favorite moments. Walz giving a leadership speech that sounded like a TED Talk gone wrong, with results that looked more like a kindergarten art project proudly labeled "Nailed It."
He's 100% right with Tim Walz.
I know I'm doing something right when the Fox News crowd is all pitching at me like crazy. Like, I'm loving it.
That guy was almost the vice president of the United States.
Elon Musk was crying last week. Tim is being mean to me, basically, you know, like, yeah.
I'm sure you've seen that thing where it shows Obama saying, I need a vice president that's dumber than me.
He may or may not have cognitive decline problems at his age, but at her age, she's just dumb.
Yeah,
Biden and
I think I
Biden
was
saying,
saying that
I
on
need
your,
a vice
Imagine someone giving a passionate speech about innovation while proudly using a flip phone. That's Tim Walz in a nutshell. He loves to strike heroic poses and talk like he's reshaping history, but what Joe Rogan exposed was pure irony wrapped in confidence. Half the time, Walz isn't rewriting the rules, he's rewriting his grocery list. Rogan couldn't get over how Walz carries himself like Minnesota is leading a political revolution, when in reality, it's more like a testing lab for dad jokes and awkward town hall moments. Walz imagines he's running an empire, but Joe compared it to a lemonade stand with messy math and crooked signage. The people around him either play along or pretend to, because honestly, who doesn't love watching someone stumble their way into power like it's a live episode of Political Twister? Rogan pointed out that Walz has this incredible talent for turning serious moments into sitcom scenes. Every opportunity becomes a punchline. Give him a national issue, and he'll hand it back like a birthday gift wrapped by a toddler. Ripped paper, missing bow, and no idea what's inside. Joe even joked that Minnesota politics isn't a government anymore.
You seen this video?
I haven't seen. Please play it.
It's probably a real person. It might not be Tim Walz. Trump is AI generated.
No, he slaps his...
I mean, that is hilarious.
Oh, it's definitely him. This is all 100% real, Jamie. You're a plant by the
Jamie's
government.
compromised.
On top says it's AI generated.
Riley
So
Moore
what?
fell for an AI-generated video of Minnesota government. I fell for it too. And you know why I fell for it?
Yeah.
Because I believe that he's capable of doing something.
It's almost impressive to watch, like seeing someone slip on ice, but somehow turn it into a dance move instead of a disaster. You can't even tell if it's skill or pure luck keeping him upright. Tim Walz dodges accountability the way Neo dodges bullets in The Matrix. Only here, the bullets are bad decisions flying faster than anyone can count. This is where Joe Rogan really leaned in and had fun. He tore apart the myth that Walz is some misunderstood political genius. Nope. Joe compared him to an overly confident substitute gym coach. Sure, he can talk about teamwork with passion, but when it's time to run a real game, the team ends up in total confusion. Walz acts like he's playing chess, but Joe revealed it's actually Candyland, and somehow he's still losing. The deeper Rogan dug, the weirder it got. Walz has this habit of over-explaining everything, as if adding more words will magically make nonsense sound intelligent. But Joe saw through it instantly. Rogan joked that Walz's speeches are like motivational cat posters come to life. You know, the ones with a kitten hanging off a branch that says, "Hang in there." It sounds inspiring, until you realize it's just a very confused cat that doesn't know how to climb down.
More time. I mean, they were talking about cracking down on hate speech online. Like, that free speech is not hate speech. That Tim Walz guy was actually saying that.
I think we need to push back on this. There's no guarantee to free speech on misinformation or hate speech, and especially around our democracy.
Hate speech.
American history.
It's so perfect.
Kamala saying, I need a vice president dumber than me. It's Walz. Men have tampons.
We have a lot of accomplishment. We haven't taken adequate credit for it, frankly. We got to do a better job of getting the word out about what we have accomplished and who did it.
You got to lose because we got to break this cycle. We're getting
Yes.
way too.
And here's where the irony hits with full force. Tim Walz actually believes he's crushing it. That's his secret superpower. While everyone else sees a never-ending blooper reel, Walz sees a highlight montage of triumphs. Joe Rogan exposed this surreal self-delusion with surgical precision. Walz's greatest talent isn't leadership, It's his ability to live in a fantasy world where every blunder is a brilliant success. It's like he's turned denial into an Olympic sport, complete with gold medals for confidence. Joe couldn't help but laugh as he dug into Walz's obsession with chasing trends. The man hops on political fads like a surfer trying to ride waves without ever learning to balance. Rogan joked that Walz thinks saying the right buzzwords is the same as doing the actual work. If politics were karaoke night, Walz would be the guy mumbling lyrics he doesn't know, hoping the audience sings along so no one notices. But what really got Joe laughing was how Walz reacts to criticism. Every bad headline becomes a cosmic betrayal. Instead of learning from it, he doubles down with the confidence of someone who took a wrong turn but insists the GPS is lying.
You know? No. For the video of him taking down the Minnesota flag and he replaced it with the new flag that looks a lot like the Somali flag. Minnesota has a huge population of Somalis in it.
All right, ready. Whoa, wait a minute.
So he gets the flag, picks it up, and replaces it.
There, that's better.
Yes, why is that better? Complete pathological liar.
Let's be honest, there are outsiders coming into communities, stealing and moving jobs away, and making life harder for people living there. And they have names, Donald Trump and J.D. Vance.
Complete liar. Lied about being in Tiananmen Square, lied about being a head coach of a football team.
Because this started, and I love this story, as a young prosecutor. Kamala Harris talked about going in that courtroom for the first time.
Pathological liars, people that are habitual liars, they just lie all the time about everything.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't deploy for war. You didn't. Why are you saying you deployed at war? The weapons you used in war? No, you were in war.
I plan on waking up on November.
Tim Walz isn't unlucky. He's impressively consistent at turning every serious moment into an unintentional comedy masterpiece. Every speech, every attempt to look presidential somehow ends up as a blooper that even Rogan couldn't script better. It's almost admirable, like watching someone walk into the same glass door twice, only to smile and wave afterward. You'd think he'd learn from the first collision, but no, Walz doubles down, convinced that confidence alone can rewrite reality. He's like a magician with one trick that never works, but he keeps performing it with dramatic flair. Minnesota politely claps, but deep down, everyone's wondering when the real act will finally begin. Rogan pointed out the irony. Walz still thinks he's the headliner when the audience knows he's the warm-up act for something far bigger. And that's what makes it hilarious. He delivers speeches like Oscar-winning monologues, completely unaware that everyone else is watching a blooper reel in real time. Joe didn't need secret files or dark conspiracies to expose him. All he had to do was hold up a mirror. What stared back wasn't corruption or evil. It was pure, unfiltered comedy. Walz has accidentally become the world's most consistent political entertainer, a man starring in a never-ending sitcom that no one asked for, but no one can stop watching either.